Hi, I'm Christina Green, reporting live from Canadian Woods, where we just found a rescue of a boy only a few hours before. The rescue occurred because a boy was lost here in these woods for a few months. He had been lost because of a plane crash, and he was flying to see his father somewhere in Canada, who... Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Christina Green, reporting live from a place of rescue. Yesterday, a boy, Brian Robson, was found here lost. He was lost for months in these Canadian woods because of a plane crash. He went down months ago because the pilot had suffered a severe heart attack, which Brian could do nothing about. He was reported to be going to see his father in the Canadian woods somewhere. His father is a mechanical engineer, and their parents had just been through a divorce recently. And here we have, this is where we found him. This is his home. He had been lost here for months. Brian's father and mother recently divorced, and he was supposed to be spending this time with his father. Unfortunately, there was not much Brian could do when the pilot suffered the heart attack. So that he flew the plane as long as he could until they ran out of gas. And then Brian went down, and he came down to a lake where the plane sank to the bottom, with the pilot's dead body still strapped inside. Brian fought for his life to reach the surface of the plane in the water. He came to the top and laid on the shore. For many days he took to retrieve his strength back. And Brian fought for his life during those couple of days. He thought he was going to die. He thought he would never make it. But he did survive. How did he do it? The key is this hatchet. Brian's mother had given this hatchet right before he left on the trip. First, Brian thought it was just a stupid gift. Little did he know that this hatchet would be the key to his survival. He was a city boy from New York, and he learned to survive in these woods alone. He learned many ways of survival out here. First, he had to learn about shelter. He had to build him shelter in these woods and find a place for a home. He also had to suffer through tornadoes, through bears, porcupines, lots of mosquitoes during the summer months. And he also had to suffer with starvation and loneliness. How did he survive all these things? Brian was only 13 years old. What must he have been thinking while he was out here? Would he ever get rescued? Would he survive these months? How long would it take? It was hard for him. But he learned that his survival depended on himself alone. No one else was there for him. He also thought this was not just like a hero in the movies. He thought of everything the heroes did and what they did to survive. But he could not do these things. It was himself alone. It was his reality to survive. He began counting his blessings. The little that he had, he took, and he learned to survive. He started making bow and arrows and spears, and he learned to catch fish, and also what they call fool birds. He learned the ways of this nature and his surroundings in order to survive. Brian became one with the nature around him. He told us when we interviewed him that he had to learn to survive out here, and the only way he could survive was to learn his surroundings, to become one with the surroundings of his nature, to learn about the birds and the animals and the noises, everything he heard. He had learned about it the hard way. He had to survive a plane crash to learn about survival. He grew and he changed in this area. He learned many different things of survival techniques. He learned how to start a fire with this hatchet and to catch all these birds and animals for food and shelter. He learned many ways out here. A lot of young adults today have to learn ways of survival no matter where they're at. Brian just learned the hard way. He learned out here alone, by himself. But many choose to learn alone. Many young adults separate themselves, especially from where Brian was from, in the city of New York. Many young adults today learn different ways of survival. They learn how to survive according to their surroundings. In New York, they learn to separate themselves, to keep to themselves, not to trust anyone, to be their own person. That's how they learn to survive, to fight back. Out here, Brian had to survive with the little that he had. This hatchet, these trees, the lake. That's all Brian had to survive, and he took those things and he learned. The question is, that Brian told us there was a plane that came earlier. But the plane turned around, and it was too late. Brian's hope was lost when that plane turned. Some months went by, and Brian was still lost out here in these woods. Would he ever make it? The question that Brian told us was, did he actually want to survive? Did he want to get rescued? Brian's home became here. Brian learned to live in this place, alone. Did he want to get rescued? This was a place where he learned. This was a place where he had changed. And this is a place where he had survived. During this time, Brian also had survived through a tornado. All by himself out here with a barely strong enough shelter, he survived. When this tornado happened, it had shook up the plane that was in the lake for many days, many months. And when the plane was shook up, Brian remembered the survival pack that was inside. He had fought and got out to the lake and retrieved that survival pack only a day before he was rescued. Treasures. It held many treasures. He found a sleeping bag, lots of food, matches, things that he wished he had before. Fishing pole. All these things he found only a day before he got rescued. But things that he enjoyed. But really, he had learned to survive without those things. Things that he did not need anymore. But they were treasures.